Alright boys, here today we're talking about Ni no Kuni. If you don't already know, this is a brand new game coming out from Netmarble tomorrow. It's going to be a pretty big game, let me tell you now, and it does look really enjoyable. I did ask a lot of players on KR, and I did play a little bit of it myself, so I have some answers today for you about who you should pick at launch, the entire drawbacks with everything. Today we're going to talk about it. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Let's have some fun and let's enjoy. Now the biggest thing with these type of games, you have to understand that picking a character is what you're going to be playing for a while now. Remember, it's an MMO, which means you're going to be putting some time in this game, I think, if you want to go and play it long term. Picking a character that you just picked because of meta or because of whatever, it's going to screw you over. Remember that, right? You want to pick a character you're going to enjoy with. If it's a playstyle you love, you pick that character. It does not matter what I tell you here today on who's better, on who's worse. Just pick who you want to play. Enjoy with that character. You will at some point run into some drawbacks, but overall, you will enjoy your time playing that character. That's the entire idea. But if you are wanting to hear what the best character is, what the drawbacks are with some, I will give you as much information as I could acquire here today. Let's jump into it. Let's break it down. First, we're going to start off with the Destroyer. This is in no particular order. I'm basically just giving each character's pros and cons and who I will pick in the end. That is my entire point in this video. Make sure to understand that. First thing, Destroyer. He is a tank. That is what he is. He will be able to sponge up some damage and deal it back. Now, when he does deal it back, he is not doing an insane, great, amazing job because that is not his job, right? His entire idea is to absorb a hit and deal it back. Now again, there are some skills that for the tank, you can do some high DPS, but those said skills, guess what? They are harder to obtain and you can't consider them behind that paywall. So with them, you will lose out on high tier damage unless you get that entire skill unlocked, which it's mainly paywall, I will say that right now. So again, remember that with him, he can't do that upper damage, but that skill, once again, so it's hard to obtain. For this one, his DPS is pretty decent, and again, remember, a tank, he's a sponge. Also remember, for this character and the next one, they both are melee characters, which means you have to get in close to deal some damage, and that is the entire idea about melee. The other three characters after the next one are in fact either long range or mid range, so there is a different playstyle with each of these characters. Also remember, when it does come to the entire tank playstyle, there is one thing, and this is what I received information from the KR players that have the game early, obviously. With them, they actually did say most of the core skills regarding damage and stuff like that for tank are paywalled. Now again, that is how it is on KR. I don't know how it's going to work over here on global, but if you are kind of taking information from this one, I will say that Destroyer will be a little bit harder in the long run. Again, I will say that if you were to tier list him, he'll definitely fall right in the middle. He is great, he is good, but there are things about him end game and later on in the game you will run into and you will see are drawbacks with him, and that is the entire idea. Some of his stuff are paywalled. Again, great character, don't get me wrong. If you still want to run him, you're definitely able to. His playstyle does look really good, and it is, I've seen a lot of people talk about their favorite playstyle, so keep that in mind. Next up, we have Swordsman, which again, a lot of people want to pick this character. He is your go-to fun character to jump in. Again, melee attacker, as mentioned. He really is, if you were to look at him, an all-rounder, right? He can deal damage, he has pretty good HP, everything about him is pretty good. He's kind of like that ideal choice if you want to just pick up the game and have some fun. The thing is that you need to know also, again, Swordsman, obviously he has to get in close, but when he does do pretty good damage. Again, and it is, when I say pretty good, he's really good when it comes to damage. Just remember one more thing also, with this character, a lot of people did say on the other version that the Swordsman does deal a high amount of damage, and the areas where he's super good and where he shines in, that area is paywalled. Now again, that is the entire idea, and again, those are his skills. Remember, when I say paywalled here, we're referring to skills that you can unlock and stuff like that. So for some characters, it is a little bit different, and it is a little bit harder. If you're playing this game fully free to play, there are some characters for that, and I will say that Swordsman, and definitely when it does come to the tank, they aren't those characters. There are two different ones, and I will mention them in a little bit. But again, a great playstyle, wonderful. He does do really good in different areas, and he is just really well done. He's an all-rounder. That's his entire idea, and you will enjoy him if you do run him. Overall though, the one thing you need to know with Swordsman is he is terrible when it comes to autoing, auto battle, so just know that. There are two things that ruin him, so just keep it in mind when you are, putting everything into your list. Swordsman does not do good on auto, and that is another drawback on him. Other than that, again, he's not bad. Next, we're talking about Witch, and with the Witch, she is a literal glass cannon. That is the entire idea about her. She is, again, close to mid-range. Remember that now, right? With a glass cannon, what does that mean? She can do damage, she can do a lot of it, but she cannot take it. That's the thing. She has low defense, and that is something big about her, where she will get kind of slapped up. Again, she is close to mid-range, which means you're trying not to take that much damage. Again, given she has to be a little bit closer. Again, not exactly up in their face like swordsmen and melee attackers, but she has to be close, right? So in order to do that, and in order to deal damage, you have to do that. But again, when she does do her damage, she does do it at high DPS. That's the entire point of her. And again, when it does come to her skills and abilities, the ones that are top-notch are paywalled, but she isn't that bad. And also remember, she is super AoE. When it does come to this character, she does decent DPS and AoE, which is a very great combination. With her, she will do really good. Some of her high damage skills also are a little bit harder to obtain, or quote-unquote paywall. That's the entire idea. Remember, again, you can obtain them on super grinding. You will get it, but again, you may not be able to get that far or whatever. And again, just remember, with the other two characters also that I've already mentioned, they all are great in their own way. They just have some big ability that is kind of locked behind the wall, which will be harder to obtain. You can obtain it, and then this character will be 10 out of 10 for you. But if you are trying to go down the route of the easiest character to pick, free to play, all of that, maybe the next two are your options. Next up, we have Engineer, and this is the one that I'm going for. She first off is long range, which is very good. She has stun effects, and she does do really good when it does come to it. The thing is, she doesn't do high DPS. So if you want to be that damage dealer, this is not your character. But she does have healing, and this is one of the biggest things. And also, when it does come to her kit, the core things that you need and the best part of her kit aren't paywalled. They aren't, right? You can use her entire kit and the best components, the best parts, without paying a single cent. And this is what I will say is one of those top tier free-to-play characters that you have to pick up if you want to go really long into this game and definitely enjoy. Now again, biggest drawback, it's a low DPS character, which means you may not like that playstyle and this may not be for you, so don't run this character. That is what you have to know. She is mainly a support character. I personally love that playstyle, the healing, the long range, and everything about her, so it's my character to go for. Again, we're two different people, understand that now, but when it does come to the biggest benefits, free to play, this is one of those characters, and I will say if I were to make this a list, she is up there on the highest tier. It has to happen. For the last character, we're talking about Rogue, and with Rogue, kind of similar on the free-to-play stature, really well done character also, with a decently fun playstyle, by the way, just gotta put that out there. Again, with this, it's another long-range attacker, which is very good. It does give you a pretty decent amount of distance where you can do a nice amount of damage too while, having that distance. Thing is also, Rogue does have a little bit less defense, so a little bit more of a easier to take out character, but Rogue gives massive buffs to each of the characters, and it's really nice, right? And again, for free to play, the buffs that Rogue gives are pretty nice. Also, just so you know, this character will be a little bit more skill-based and will require a little bit for you to have to take into consideration, where you have to dodge constantly. You kind of have to, play it smart. Again, he will take damage, but he does keep the team buffed, keeps them alive, keeps them helping out. And again, it's a little bit of a slower-based character, but in the end, I will say Rogue is a top-tier contender. And when it does come to his kit, it really isn't too much paywalled. And then again, with this character, you can definitely go and achieve higher-tier content and just really go and steamroll stuff because of his playstyle. So again, keep that in mind. Rogue and Engineer both being top tier characters, and again, they both have different playstyles. You got to keep that in mind. One's a low DPS, one's definitely more of a buffer. And then again, if you look at the bottom tier, you have a damage dealer, you have a close to mid range, pure glass cannon, you have a tank. Each one shine in their own way. Some of them do, kind of have more longevity. Again, it's up to you. Your playstyle is different. That's the entire idea. But again, to give you my quick consensus, and this is like the easiest summary I can give you. If you like being a just massive brawler, wanted to go and just beat the crap out of someone up in their face, Destroyer is your type. Great damage dealer, great absorber, really is a pretty good class. If you like that medic class and you've played support a while, not dealing too much damage, but keeping your team alive and just dealing from long range, Engineer is your pick. If you like speed and damage and cutting through enemies with a sword, that's Swordsman. That's literally him, okay? That's what you gotta pick up there. If you do like mid-range, high DPS and all of that, and again, glass cannon, that perfect word that fits the witch, that is it for you. That is your playstyle. That is how it should work. Those are the characters you're going to pick. Most free-to-play options have to be Engineer and Rogue. Those are definitely on there for top-tier contenders. Again, you take what you want from this video, and again, decide what you want. If you just watch this to hear everything, you're like, screw it, I still want Swordsman. He's the best character. I love his playstyle. I love how he looks. Do it. If you want to enjoy the game and perfectly play it, pick the character you want. It doesn't matter. Thank you again for watching. Peace out, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have fun and stay safe.